will... I'm getting a warning here saying, oh crap. Okay, so I've had to split this review into two. That's not my fault. That's the way my phone is. But anyway, so Oppenheimer didn't have any certainty that his atomic bomb would end war for good. He just sort of hoped it would. And again, it's part of the human condition that we will rationalize, well, I guess the good of it is this. But really, it's a case of like curiosity killed the cat. And many people have said it, that like when a person discovers something like that, the smartest thing they can do is put it away, burn it, right? Never tell anyone what you discovered. But then there's another argument, which is that maybe he really did create something that prevented, put an end to the war. Maybe World War II would have carried on to this day. Obviously, there's still wars, very significant wars, but maybe that war wouldn't have come to an end at all. I don't know. Nobody knows. But I'd say these are very big and important questions. And then, of course, if you've seen the film, and I don't think you should see this review if you haven't, it asks the question, did they really start the ball rolling in terms of a series of dominoes that will eventually bring apart the destruction of the Earth? And he obviously had to carry that weight, well, ever since what he developed. It's a significant and important film. I don't think it's not a 10 out of 10 movie. It's a 10 out of 10 story. It's a 10 out of 10 important piece of history. He's someone who should definitely be discussed and known about, and I would love to see it have open discussion. It's the kind of thing where they should show it in school and say, now everyone, what do you think of him? Was he a good man? Was he a bad man? Let's not be so black and white, but what's the good of him? What's the bad of him? Did he do the right thing? Did he not? These are, the film did have elements where I felt a bit like I was watching an after-school special or something, trying to teach you stuff. But it's a very, very significant story, and I don't know. I could go on and on and on about it, but like I said, visually, my main criticism was that scene early on in the review, when he saw little bits of the devastation. And I did think maybe the film, to keep the rating down, so it wasn't like R17 or rated 18, Christopher Nolan decided not to show quite how brutal that bomb is. And I did actually think it might have been a more powerful movie if at least we'd seen him watching the real footage of the bomb. If at least he'd watched some black and white footage of that thing going off, once they got the film stock to film negatives from Hiroshima and Nagasaki and showed it to him on a projector or something. If he could have seen it and we could have seen it, I think that would have at least shown part of what he did and what he had to live with. Because the way Nolan did it with some stupid face mask hanging off a woman was just like, it was like a bad recreation in a documentary, those cheap recreation scene, you used to see a subtitle under the screen. I think they still do it. Recreational footage, not real footage, and badly directed and stuff. But anyway, it was a pretty significant story, and yes, it's still with me. I'll show you this plane just for the relevance. If I can reach it, I'll show you guys. Mind this Sega Master System, but I always thought this was really nice, and it was amazing to meet this guy. So that's that in there, and the writing is on the inside, which I don't want to take out, but he did give that to me, and it was quite lovely to think that this man who, so the bomb fell when he was a child on Hiroshima, and oh, there it is. It says riding 1,000 winds to peace. I think it says. I can see in there it says riding 1,000 winds on one wing. But the guy who made this and gave it to me lost his parents in the bomb, and then him and his sister got away, but then his sister died of radiation poisoning. And after he managed to get away, and I asked him, do you remember the bomb? And he said he remembers the morning and it being a beautiful morning, but he said he didn't remember. Everything else was like kind of a blackout until it was just him trying to escape. And it was amazing that he managed to meet up and find his sister, who also survived, but then she died of radiation poisoning. And the tragedy of this man is that he spent the rest of his life, he actually got out of Japan. He didn't have good English, but he had good enough English for me to speak to him. But he got out of Japan, and he never had a relationship. He never got married. He never had a girlfriend. He never had anything like that, because they didn't know back then if radiation poisoning was contagious, and they didn't really understand the after effects of it. So, which is touched upon in Oppenheimer, but not significantly. But that man's whole life, he was afraid to get close to anyone. He was afraid to really love anyone. He was afraid to be loved, because he thought, what if I meet a girl and fall in love with her and get her pregnant? What if she dies from being close to me? What if what happened to my sister happens to her? What if I have children and they die? And the Japanese have carried that. You can see it in their work. You can see it. There's a poster for Akira. You can see the after effects of the atomic bomb in Akira. You can see it in so much of their work. That overhanging devastation that has affected that country and its people and their art, and to a degree, I would say it's their perfectionism. The Japanese are the most meticulous people on earth when it comes to things have to look perfect, be perfect, like everything has to run perfectly. It's that yin yang. Like after great devastation, the cleanup is, well, now it has to be perfect. But that these after effects are unreal, and I'm kind of it's surprising, isn't it, that I can show you that a little touchstone to someone who actually survived it. But his story shows a bit about how significant the devastation of that bomb was. And the film Oppenheimer, it essentially paints him out that he was innocent of being communist, which is how they tried to paint him to reduce his influence over the people. But I think we still have to question, not in a court of law, but in our own thoughts. It is worth questioning. But did he really? He was a genius. He was phenomenal. But did he really do the right thing by getting that bomb made in the first place? I mean, it's very hard to say yes to that. It's like, I kind of think, well, again, yeah, once you see it, the most ethical thing you do is you put it in a drawer and you burn your findings, and you don't let the world know about it. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you created a stalemate. Anyway, that's Oppenheimer. It's something that I'm sure I could talk about more. We could do a live thing, or in the future. I'm sure it's a subject matter that's worth bringing up again. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you found that interesting. And if you have views about the film, I'd love to hear it. I haven't spoken to anyone about the movie. I kind of have purposely kept away from other reviews and even other people who saw it. But if you want to share any now, now I'm happy to hear them. All right. Thank you so much. I hope everyone is well. Take care of yourselves. All right. Bye-bye. Bye. Be well. Bye-bye.